I'm live right now. Okay, sweet. So this is me cheating on making a video because it's been a long time since I made a video. I wanted to make one, and I just don't want to edit it. So I'm going live, doing a quick top 10, not putting any pictures on here. Just wanted to talk to people, and then yeah, I hope you enjoy, and we can go from there. I'm going to talk a little bit first about PAX Unplugged. So PAX Unplugged is a board game convention, one of the two board game conventions I've been to. Really love it in Philadelphia every year in December. And this year I was an enforcer, which is basically a paid volunteer kind of for the convention. And so yeah, it was a good time. I enforced last year as well. I mean, I got to go for free. You know, they pay you a little bit of money, and then you volunteer. This year I was in first look, which meant I was teaching games to people, which was honestly so good. Like it was fantastic. Made the time go by like that. I had a 5-hour shift every night, like 7 to midnight, and it was fun. Like I will do it again. I would love to be in first look again. Um, you know, if I get the chance. But anyway, I have been on the road since then for a couple of weeks now, and we're going to be home tomorrow. But I haven't been posting videos for so long because my wife released a book. Been on the road for 4 months, basically, and that's finally coming to an end. But I just know there's all this other stuff to take care of. So I was like, I'll just go live. We'll have this be the video, and I can talk for a little bit, and that'll be it. So, you know, not that I have professional quality most of the time, but expect more professional quality in the future. And in the meantime, enjoy the background of just being a messy hotel room. So, like I said, I was in first look. I was teaching games. Some of these games are from the first look area, games I checked out there, either played or taught. Some of these games are games from the expo. The expo is where all these board game companies basically have booths and show off games. You can either do a demo, sometimes you can play the full game, you can buy games, of course. I only bought one game this year, and then I bought a bunch of games used because that's it's much cheaper that way, and yeah, so I went with that method. But without further ado, number 10 was a game called Council of Shadows. And this was a game in the first look area that I had to teach. It was the most complicated game in my section. The first was I worked 2 nights. The first night I didn't teach it to anyone. No one wanted me to teach it to him, which was great because I was like, I'm so unclear on this. The second night, I talked to the guy who shipped before me, and he's like, oh, we got some clarifications on the rules. And he's like, so now I think we should be able to figure this game out. And then right off the bat, some guys sat down, these 3 guys sat down, they're like, hey, we want to learn this game. I was like, I will teach it to you, but like you got to bear with me because I read the rules a couple of times. I still don't know how to play. We can work through it together. They were super great, super gracious, and we figured out the game. Seems really interesting. You're like upgrading your cards, and you're trying to basically make enough energy to exceed your consumption of energy. And you have this thing where your consumption of energy goes up, and then your energy that you make catches it, and that's a point, and then it keeps on going up. You got to catch it again, and then you got to catch it a third time. If you do that first, you generally win the game because you get more points. Really interesting. Didn't get a chance to play the game. Saw it played quite a bit, and yeah, I think it's one I want to check out. That's Council of Shadows, number 10. Number 9 is a game called Hamlet. This is a tile-laying game with very interestingly shaped tiles, like these little diamonds and things that are not just squares or just triangles or something like that. So I thought that was going to be the hook. Played a demo of this with Amy and a couple other people, including other Kyle from Pittsburgh. And so we played several turns, and actually, so the hook of the game is not the weird shaped tiles. The hook of the game is that you are all using each other's resources to construct these buildings and build out this town and eventually construct this cathedral. But you get points for doing these things. You also get points when other people use your resources, but other people really do want to use your resources because they want to build things. Really interesting. It took several turns to like figure out like what are we doing here. I think I want to play a full game sometime and check it out. It might be something I really like. Definitely something unique, that is for sure. Number 8 is a game called Basket Boss, which I guess is a reprint, but this is from BoardGameTables.com, who is now rebranded as All Play as of today. Congratulations, All Play. In Basket Boss, you are playing a basketball team manager, and it's pretty simple. You're just like drafting these players. Everyone's paying money for these various different players, and you play a series of 6 rounds or 6 like seasons. Um, the really interesting thing is that your players age. So if you have someone who's like really good at the beginning, then they age and you slide their little card under the board so they now are not as good. Or maybe they start out not as good and now they are good as they age. And so you're dealing with that sort of thing. Really interesting. Played a couple rounds as a demo. Shout out to Melissa for teaching us. Yeah, I definitely want to play the full game. I'll probably pick it up when I volunteer for All Play at Origins in next year. That was number 8, Basket Boss. Number 7. So those back to those 3 guys who I taught Council of Shadows to, who were very nice and helped me figure out the game. They have a game. They were there talking about their game that's going to be launching in March. So 3 of them have designed this game called Worn Wanderers, which has pin trading is a thing at conventions. People have all these little pins, and then they'll trade them with other people. The one guy has like a full like cape, like jacket, trench coat full of pins. Very odd. Very interesting guy. And so these guys have developed a game called Worn Wanderers. That's WORN Wanderers, in which you have like 8 pins, and they have different special abilities, and you can play it while just like standing up, waiting in a line. You'd be like, okay, this guy attacks that guy, and then the person will like, you might take some damage and stuff like that. So it's a very like simple, quick kind of little, heads up battler. But it seems really interesting. It was really great to talk to them. They were super nice guys, and I'm definitely going to be checking it out come spring. I think they're going to crowdfunding or something like that. So yeah, that's Worn Wanderers. Number 6 was Ahoy. Ahoy is from Leader Games, the same people who do Root, which is Amy's favorite game, Oath, some other stuff. And it's essentially, it's a 4-player asymmetric game where one player, it's pirates. 2 players are just like smugglers doing their own thing, and then you have like the big bad guys and then the scrappy rebels fighting, and then everyone's interacting with each other in different ways. We were actually not taught how to play the game, but like given the spiel, as I like to say, the overview, by Kyle Farron, the artist for Root and all the other Leader games, including Ahoy. And he basically like told us all about the game. Seems really interesting. We didn't buy it. It's something I think I want to play first. I don't quite know it's my cup of tea. Leader Games is always doing like just out there things, and I really appreciate that. But that means I usually want to play their games first. So we'll see. Also, it wasn't designed by Cole Worley or Patrick Leader. It was designed by somebody else. But yeah, I definitely am going to check it out further. That's Ahoy. Number 5 is called Soulforge Fusion, which I'm going to play on Saturday with Nikki. Soulforge Fusion is by Richard Garfield, the guy who did Magic the Gathering, also Keyforge, and it uses the whole like algorithm building your deck thing from Keyforge. But the way that it works is you shuffle 2 decks together and then play with that. That's about all I know about it. I got a little bit of an overview from somebody when I had like 5 minutes before my shift started. And I love Keyforge, love Magic the Gathering. Rich Garfield is, a genius. So it sounds cool, and I want to check it out. So yeah, that's number 5, Soulforge Fusion. Number 4 is On Tour, Paris and New York, which is a new version of the game On Tour, which is one of my favorite games. It's somewhere in the top 100 mine. This one, you have one side of the board is Paris, the other side is New York. We played a full game at the All Play booth of the Paris side, and this is essentially very much like On Tour, except there's this river, and you can cross the river and jump across the board in different spots. So it made my brain burn even more than On Tour usually does. I was able to pick up a copy, which was great, and I'm very much looking forward to playing the New York side and like playing it more. On Tour is just great. Plays well 1 through 8. More if you have multiple copies. And it's just one of those games where like it's stressful in the best way, and I love that. Not everyone does. I recognize that. That was number 4. Number 3, I played a full game with Melissa and JD of a game called Rise. They had this in the Mox Boarding House, which is apparently a board game cafe in a couple places in the country. They had a room where they were just teaching people games. Went there, played this game because I'd seen it ahead of time, was interested. It's great. This went on it will be going on my wish list if it's not there already. In Rise, you're essentially an industrial age like society, and on your turn, you bid for these cards, and they tell you which tracks you can go up. And there's 12 different tracks for different facets of society, so like education or politics, or just like happiness, or people rioting, or pollution, things like that. And so the whole game is just balancing these tracks and choosing what you want to maximize. It was really great, a lot of good decision space without taking a lot of time. I definitely think you can play a full game in probably 45 minutes once you know what you're doing. Yeah, I plan on picking this up. It's one of those games where I knew I would love it, and I did. It's also like hard for me to tell if other people will love it or not because I'm just kind of obsessed with tracks. Tracks and deck building, the two things I'm obsessed with, and that's why I love Dune Imperium so much because that's both. Anyway, that's an aside. Rise, and this was by Capstone Games, who is really knocking it out of the park lately with all sorts of games, including Arc Nova, and including one I'm about to talk to, but not right now. Number 2 is a game called Challengers. I actually played this a week before PAX. I was taught the game at Game Masters by Kyle from Pittsburgh, the other Kyle. There's multiple Kyles in Pittsburgh, I'm sure. But anyway, it's the simplest deck builder I've ever played. The theme is like capture the flag, sort of, but really, at the beginning of each turn, you just choose 2 cards to add to your deck. From like you draw 5 and choose any one of those, and you can draw some more and choose one of those. And then the game plays itself. Like very few cards have decisions that you make. So I bought this game. I love it so much. I played a 2-player game with Melissa. And I was like, oh, wait, this works great at 2? I'm going to go ahead and buy it. I then played a 1-player game like a week ago. That was fantastic, too. Oh, man, this chair goes up and down if you accidentally hit it. Listen, this is the sort of production you can come to expect from this YouTube channel. Anyway, Challengers. It's great. Can play an 8-player game in probably half an hour, maybe 45 minutes. And the decision making is like small, but so fun. And so I love it. Excited to play Challengers some more. I don't know if Amy's going to like it. We will see. It's very divisive in some ways. And then finally, number 1 is the game Terra Nova. So this was the reason I chose the section I had to teach my games in the first look area, because I really was interested in Terra Nova. It's the easier version of Terra Mystica. Love Terra Mystica. And so I played the full game once with Amy and Marianne and Sarah. And Amy destroyed us, but it was so much fun. It's essentially taking Terra Mystica and turning it into a much shorter, smaller game, only 4 people, removes a lot of stuff, but it's still really fun. It has all that asymmetry that I love in Terra Mystica. Not as much decision space, obviously, because they're removing a bunch of stuff, but it's amazing how much fun it is. In some ways, maybe more fun than Terra Mystica for most people. Terra Mystica is like the perfect weight for me because I love like a good medium heavy game. I'm coming to understand like that's the kind of weight that I love. But yeah, Terra Nova is the real deal. So that's number 1. When on my wish list, we'll see. Maybe I'll get it for Christmas. Who knows? But yeah, I was happy to have this little live video to post to the channel. Hopefully everything works out technically on this. I only did this one time and I prepared for it more the last time I did this whole live thing. But yeah, happy to talk to you all. Look forward to some stuff coming up on the channel. I've been playing all my solo games, so I'll do a top 10 solo games. We'll certainly do the top 10 games that were new to me in 2022. So those two will be coming up. And then I'm hoping this winter to stay home and play a lot of games. So let me know if you're in the Pittsburgh area and you want to come over and play games. Let me know. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good one.